So thank you everybody for coming to this webinar, and thank you for going to our YouTube page and also viewing this video. So we definitely thank you. If you can't do it live with us, such as Tyler is, you can definitely subscribe and hit the notification button, and always be informed to when we have new videos. So for today, it's a couple of topics. Not sure if everybody knows about these topics and how helpful these tools can help you, but it's part of the CRM. So on top of a couple of new things that have came out, I want to show you guys. So if you work with a team, right? So not a lot of agents are part of a team. I can tell you it's just a couple of accounts that we have that work with a team. But now, let me go ahead and share my screen so you guys can see what I'm seeing. But now if you work with a team and you have to-dos, right? I don't know if everybody knew what that used to look like, but to-dos are here to the right-hand side of the page. But now this is a new feature where you can either look at all the owners and have everybody's to-dos in front of you, including your teammates and yourself, or you can just look at your own. So basically you would select your name, and now you can basically filter and see only, you can now see only the one that you're filtering, the owner that you just filtered, right? So if that is, let me just see get this, go ahead and hit refresh, see if that goes away. So here you can show only completed ones, and you can pick the user that you want to look at, or you can look at all the owners, and now you can get an idea of everybody's, to-dos and stay on top of important things for clients, especially if you're working in like a team kind of setting. So this is new. So definitely utilize it, and we hope that it makes your days that much easier. There's also, I don't have many overdue messages or appointments or anything in this account, so I can't really showcase it. But when you do look at your overdue, it tends to, well, nothing is found, which is true. So I can't really show you, but it's going to show you in this kind of view is what I'm told. So I don't have any overdue appointments to showcase it. However, that's a change that took place. And when you are inside of a contact, right? So let's just use this contact for instance. And let's say that you have some undelivered items, right? Or things in the future. So the account is now default to not have this checked, and it is to include undelivered items. So when you first go into the account, you'll see that it's not going to be checked. So you're not going to see a lot of undelivered things. When you first get into the account, what you'll see is delivered things, meaning you can go right to the conversations, you can go right to the notes and see what's kind of taking place instead of having to fiddle through, 5 emails that haven't been, they're programmed to go out, but they haven't gone out. So some agents have informed us to, is there something that we could do about it? So we created this little check button that if you wanted to see everything, you could check it, and of course it would show you anything in the future. But if it's not delivered, of course it will declutter this and just have the stuff that has been sent and already added per se. So these are some new features that we rolled out. So definitely, take advantage of them. So what I wanted to talk about, right, is this little button over here, which is our transactions. So this is what I wanted to highlight on top of the calendar view. These are the two things. So I'm not sure, but if people knew that they could create transactions. So these are the same contacts that live within your contacts, your all contacts. However, in all transactions, it's going to show you only the contacts that have transactions, right? So that is the difference. Now, you can still get to transactions from any, from any customer by simply just clicking on the contact and going to transactions. Now for this Bob test, we don't have any transactions saved. He's not doing a listing or he's not looking to purchase a home. So he doesn't have any at the moment. However, let's go look at all transactions and let's look for somebody that does. So we can go to Ryan Craig and let's take a look at his transaction. And so this is a transaction that he has, right? You can put in all of these details, and in fact, you can edit them at a later date if you wish. But here you can save the property's address, square foot, or square feet, square footage of the property. We've got numbers of bedrooms, numbers of bathrooms. So you can save these details of the property to the transaction. Let me go ahead and let Martin in. You can also set up these categories right now. You see this little button where it says manage items. If you had more options other than just buy, sell, lease, then you could add them, right? And I would suggest to add them so that you have more details to your process and into the transactions. And so all you would have to do is select that, add in the new item and hit save, and then hit done. And you'll see that the new item will show up in the dropdown. You can save the MLS number, target area or neighborhood. Now this is also important, is the transaction pipeline. So these are also categories that you can create. So here for listing, we have the most common kind of workflow or sales flow per se. However, you can add to it, right, to give yourself just that more, just a little bit more of dialing it into your process. Also, you've got the options for buyers, but this can be obviously edited and added just by going to manage items. These ones are all hard coded, so those you can't change, but you're welcome to put buyer and then, the next category to kind of keep it within the buyer block. But yeah, you can basically create more options within the transaction pipeline. You can note the price, your commission rate. I guess you can do the math on the amount that you're going to be making. And what I would also say is important are these dates: the listing date, the listing expiration date, mutual acceptance, and closing date. Now, by having these dates and utilizing action plans, you guys, by entering transactions and having action plans, looking for a listing date, looking for a listing expiration date, could really help you not only with dealing with listings, but managing them. So if you have another service that does this for you, then I can totally understand why do things twice, right? Redundancy is definitely something to look at. But if you don't, you definitely could use our transactions feature to not only stay on top of all of the details of the property listing or the property being purchased, but these important dates as well, plus link them to action plans so that when, the listing expiration date, instead of the week of you calling the client and letting them know about this date, why not have either a friendly email and text message going to the customer, letting them know that their listing expiration date is coming up. This is the date, and maybe like a call to action, such as when you have a moment, here's my meeting link where you can book some time with me so that we can discuss this, or here is my phone number if you could give me a call. That way, these people are proactive in giving you a call based off of an email that you automated, based off of these details being entered and the action plan being set up and using these as triggers. So I would assume, if you didn't have the luck to sell the property in the time obviously disclosed in the first opportunity, well, they might still appreciate all the hard work that you've, done up until that point. And because you're proactive, they're going to give you some more time. And so obviously more time is a good thing for you. So And that's not something that you had to manage. You didn't really have to think about it. You just have to basically enter all the details to the transaction, and you can, achieve those types of results, especially with like the closing date, the mutual acceptance date. You could set up a whole list of action plans, based off of the mutual acceptance date. There's a bunch of duties that I know agents have to do once this date has been set in stone. And so why not, based on this, have an action plan slowly set up all of those types of appointments for you so that now all you have to do is pay attention to your calendar, right? So this is transactions, but based on the contact level. So you can do it here, right? This is a perfect place to edit, right? So this is where you could edit the transaction, but if you needed to create another transaction, you could do so by just hitting the plus button after hitting transactions over here. If I'm going too fast and there's any questions, right, Tyler, Martin, feel free just to, raise your hand or turn on your mic and just let me have it. But yeah, any questions, I'm also here to help answer any questions you guys might have in regards to this topic. So this is one way you can find transactions. For the people who are subscribed to Sparky as a feature, you can send contracts to Sparky, right? Sparky is our AI assistant. Well, he's your AI assistant, and you can send contracts over to him. He will input all of the details, all the dates, set up any appointments that is within the contract, any dates that are specific, and any things that are outlined within the contracts. Those appointments would get set up. So that's kind of like a cool feature to have Sparky. But you can do it yourself as well, right? There's no problem in you inputting the information. So this view is similar to like all contacts. You've got where if you needed to send out emails to these individuals, you could do this in bulk. Sorry about that. You could grab a couple and you could send everybody a bulk email or a bulk text message, right? This is to download this information. So if you needed to download all of your transactions that you have, all 15 of them, you can see how you could basically just select all of them and then go ahead and select this. If you do all columns, it'll show everything, and then you'll have your file here. Download it if you like Excel. If you need to share an Excel with your business partners, send it in an email to people. That would have been the best bet, to download all of the columns. And if you're using all of these categories correctly, not only are you going to have the information at your fingertips, but you'll know where they are within the pipeline. Here you can go ahead and view more, all 15. So just keep that in mind. Also here, if you needed to select to have more information at your fingertips, you could, just a matter of checking them. And then now you can scroll over. Sorry about that. You can scroll over and see all of that data and have it at your fingertips. So huge feature. I really didn't, I wouldn't have thought that until I saw an agent actually really use this. And when I saw her use it and how she used it, it definitely, this was her highlight of the day. She would definitely come here in the mornings. She would definitely see, what's the status of these, just even if it's just having the list in front of you. To me, it looked like that's what was key for her, is that she had really good organization with her live transactions. She could immediately, if she needed to update any of these dates, she could just walk in here and do so just by selecting the transaction. Now having it, she would use a lot of Sparky. So Sparky gets these contracts, puts these dates, and uploads all these informations to the contracts that she gets. So that's also, time saving for her, not having to have to enter in this data. So that's also a huge benefit. Plus, you do get the business tracker, right? Now, you also can save different, it looks like views. through transactions. So if you wanted to set up views for different stages of the transaction, so you're not just looking at everybody in one big chunk, looks like you can set those up as well, right? And that's what you see, these little views. That's what the locks are for. But the business tracker. So this is just another way of viewing your transactions, and the way that you see is a lot different from this. So let me see if there we go. So based on the categories that they fall under, right? So if you have your closed contracts here, you'll see a running number of how many of those transactions have closed. So if you like to know and stay on top of your numbers, you can. You can have things that are under contract as well, and it will show you all of these details. So if you're putting in, you know, total number of sales and your commission and all of that kind of stuff, it will calculate it for all of the transactions, for all of the different pipelines statuses that you utilize. So if you utilize a different set of transaction pipelines, well, then those also would show up here. And then you can go ahead and click, and below it'll show you all of those under contract contracts. So this is, I think, also helpful when reviewing and doing things like that. But it also, if you had transactions here, you could click on the transaction and then it would take you to the contact. So this also could be, a view in which you lean on a lot to kind of just stay on top of all your deals and to make sure that they're getting all the necessary attention and that you're not missing any of the dates, right? Any of that kind of stuff you don't want to happen. So business tracker. If you didn't know we had one, we have one. I think it's kind of self-explanatory how to use it. But then again, if you had any more questions and you'd like to reach out to me personally, if you don't have my Book Me link in my signature, in the emails that I send out to everybody for these webinars, then let me see if I can provide that, and I'll throw it into the chat. Here we go. Let me go to my dashboard. No, view my page. Here we are. So this address will let you schedule time with me. It gives a bunch of hours throughout the day that you could have access and just quickly set up a meeting with me, and then we can kind of look at the details of, maybe some of the questions that you had about the business tracker. So with that said, do we have any questions? Tyler, Martin, have I stirred up any questions in regards to, Martin, you're a long time customer. Do you use the transactions or the business tracker at all?
We don't, but I want to. So I need my team, or I guess my assistant, to start doing that stuff. I think we pay for Sparky. I'm not sure if
Yes, I think you guys
yeah.
have Sparky.
So we can just send our contracts in and they'll kind of just filter through everything and populate that stuff. Is that how that
And it'll
works? Okay.
exactly. So you send the transaction over. Obviously, we're going to assume that there is a contact, right? So we can match up email, first name, those kinds of details.
Yeah.
Then it will put in a transaction. Plus, it'll take all of the dates and anything that's specific within within that contract, and it'll also set up those appointments in your calendar as well. So you have those, pending. And then if you needed to, which is my second, lead into, is to the calendar view. So you'll have a bunch of these where you can just simply, if you needed to edit it for whatever reason, you could just quickly go in and edit this and push it to another day if you needed to. If you know that it's not going to happen today, but you just want to push it out, you could push it out, and now you know that you'll see it show up on the 25th. It'll also show up in if you've got your Google or Microsoft calendar set up, it'll also edit that as well. And so, it's all about staying on top of customers and not letting transactions go stale or get the feeling that, oh, they're not staying on top of the ball with things. And so anything that can give you that edge is definitely, I would say, a benefit, right?
Yeah, I think I need to hook my calendar into this and then kind of go through because right now all our stuff's on a spreadsheet or like checklists and things like that. So I need to kind of integrate that into this so we can just have it automated, I guess, is what
Well,
that
or at
would be.
least have it in one place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then with the all transactions, you can actually download and create if you like having stuff backed up in Excel, or if you like to share Excels with people like, hey, here is the data that we have for this week, or things like that. You'll easily be able to pull a report together. Like, and especially with these views like pending transactions. You could have many different stages set up so that you're not having to filter this all the time. You can essentially just go straight to, um, those important stages and pull the numbers and quickly communicate with your team and, you know, make sure everybody is on the ball, which is an edge that every agent is trying to achieve, right? So I think utilizing a CRM, not just having, a glorified Rolodex, but actually utilizing it for the follow-up, utilizing it for knowing where and every agent or not agent, but contact is, and then sending out newsletters and communicating with them. All the types of touches that you can do. I think it's a full circle. You know what I mean? Having access to a CRM, but with ours, I do see that transaction is overlooked. But when working with an agent and how she uses this, it's like I couldn't understand why other agents have told me they have other systems in place. So I could understand why they wouldn't need to use this. But if you didn't have, and you have some type of manual situation going on, all transactions should be able to smoothen some of the things in the back office, is what I would say.
Yeah.
But yeah, so thank you for that insight, Martin. And then so yeah, and so for the people that don't have Sparky, it's a matter of just maybe reaching out to us at support at fieldnotes.com, sorry, .ai, and making the request, and then somebody from our team will reach out to you and discuss what it is to add Sparky. But essentially, he is a AI assistant. Do you use him for so like if you get a business card, you can take a photo of it. You can either email it to him or you can send it to him in a text, and then you can tell him add this as a contact. Also, add this as a contact and set up a follow-up appointment in 2 weeks to give him a call back at I mean, whether if you say it's an all-day appointment or if it is a time-specific appointment, Sparky will take that request. Not only will he enter the contact in your CRM, he will also add the business card where he got this information from and add it to the contact. And then if you asked for any type of follow-up appointments, he would definitely add those as well. So Sparky is in some cases really helpful. So if you're not using Sparky, or if you'd like to reach out to us, and if you have Sparky as an add-on, definitely, play around with him. If he's kind of like an 8-year-old boy. So if you can speak to an 8-year-old boy, he most likely will be able to understand, what you're trying to do, whether if it's add a contact, or as long as the request is relatively simple and he can find the contact. So let's say you don't have 12 John Smiths, then he should be able to locate the individual and make a change or set up an appointment. So definitely play around with Sparky if you haven't. And then so I guess the other thing is, the calendar view. A lot of people, so there's many different ways of using it. One way that I saw with a couple of agents is they use this huge for their follow-up, right? So whether if they're creating appointments in the all contacts kind of area. So what I've seen is they'll have many different views of many different lead lists, circle groups, but essentially having, whether if it's from a view or if it's just from all your list of contacts. But what they would do is they would, get into a call block and just start calling people. And then they would also, from here, set up an appointment. But their following day was spent a couple of hours sitting in the calendar view, looking at all these appointments that they've set up. So essentially they would come in today and you'll see, let's say for the 19th, you'll have 3 all-day appointments. You'll have a bunch of time-specific stuff, and really depending on your day and whether if you can make those calls or not, you can easily push these out for other days so that you're not, you're just not letting that appointment go overdue, but you're actually addressing it, review the account, make sure that it's got, you still got a couple of days before you can, that you need to speak with the person, but know that you can edit from here would allow you to basically just deal with what you have to deal with today and have an understanding of what's kind of coming in the next couple of days so that you can kind of set up your work schedule. Um, I don't see a lot of people talk about the calendar nor use it much when it comes to their day to day, but I definitely think it could help a lot of agents stay on top of at least the important details, right? Now, that's whether if it's a to-do or if it's just a straight up appointment, an all day reminder, that kind of thing. So yeah, so these are the things that I wanted to discuss for this session. I don't know, Tyler, Martin, did you guys have any questions? Do you guys have any questions in regards to the product in general? Any challenges that you've come across that you'd like to maybe possibly throw out in this open discussion and see if I could help you with something?
I'm good. I'm probably gonna set up a separate thing with you and my assistant so she can kind
Sure.
of get all this stuff lined up. But for right now, I don't really think we need to delve too deep in anything.
Yeah, well, when you have questions,
Yeah.
definitely reach out to me. There's this one lady, she said, I just go to bed at night and I just think of stuff and I just dream up of stuff that you can help me with. And I was like, okay, well, I'm thinking of you too, you know. But uh what I can say is I've been able to help her with almost like 90% of the things that she wants to do. Like she wants to communicate with different groups months in advance. She's a different kind of agent. She's not a real estate agent. So, um, but the system still helps her, stay on top of all the important dates and important things that she has to keep front of mind for her business. So, got a lot of experience of using the system a little bit different. So, if you guys have any questions, please do take them to me so that we can, figure out how we can make your day to day a little bit easier. So, thank you, Martin. Tyler, it was a pleasure having you. I think we were penciled to meet one day or to set up an appointment, but definitely whenever you have some time, if you have any questions in regards to the CRM, would love to show you and answer any questions that you may have. All right. Well, I definitely thank everybody for tuning in and for the people that showed up. Nope. Thank you, Tyler. Um, and we're doing this every Wednesday at 12 Pacific. So if you've got time, if you've got any issues that you want to bring, definitely this is the place to. So it was a pleasure, everybody. You guys have a great day. Ciao, ciao.